What's up, guys? Welcome back. This is question 5. Now let's have a look at what this question 5 saying. It's saying sketched below is the graph of f of x. We can already see that it's a parabola, it's a hyperbola, alright, having a domain of -2, 1, and then domain, they are referring to what, guys? Domain are referring to x values, right? So this is our domain. Is from infinity to 1 and also from 1 to positive infinity. All right, great stuff. So the graph of f of x cuts the y-axis at 0 is to 1. So it's cutting the y-axis, which is at this point here, which gives us the y-intercept. All right, so this gives us what? Y-intercept. A is a line of asymptotes. Oh, I thought they're actually saying E. Okay, this is a line of asymptotes of f. It's given by that. So this is our straight line there, which is this one here. It's given by that. So we also have got a point here that is not identified. All right, let's move on. 5.1. I hope you guys understand the question. Write down the value of p. So they are requiring us to write down the value of p. So 5.1 are saying write down the value of p. So let's just see here, f of x, a over x plus p plus q. So you can already see p is sitting there, which gives us the line of asymptotes of our vertical asymptotes. So now we already know. So it's here, they've given it to us, it's 1. So therefore it means our line of asymptote, the value of p here, it's equals to -1. Okay, the value of p here is equals to -1. Why is it -1? So that when you solve for x here, it becomes a +1, which is our vertical asymptotes there. I hope you guys are aware of it, but if you want to work it out, here is the formula of working it out: minus p. So you just take the vertical asymptote, you put it there. You can just say x is equal to negative, what is the vertical asymptote? 1. So therefore it's going to be -1. So this is how you would solve for it if you were to work it out like that. All right, so now let's move on. 5.2, determine the equation of the horizontal asymptote. So now they want us to find the equation of horizontal asymptote, which is this line here. Okay, so it is therefore they want us to find out this line here. Okay, so 5.2 want us to find the vertical asymptote, which under normal circumstances the vertical asymptote will be given by q, but here we don't have the q, but we already know this asymptote is sitting here. We know the value of x here, and we know the equation of a straight line. So if you were to go to the straight line and substitute x is equals to 1, we should be able to get this point here. Okay, so now we're just gonna come here, say g of x is equals to x minus 3. So therefore we know when x is equals to 1, what is it? 1 minus 3, which is going to give us -2, which can make sense. So therefore the equation of horizontal asymptote is going to be y is equals to -2. All right, so that's how you would get this one here. We're just using the equation of a straight line because we can use the hyperbola. Not enough information is provided for the hyperbola. All right, let's move on to 5.3. 5.3 says here, calculate the value of a. All right, the value of a, let's have a look. Come here, 5.3. If you've got a question, guys, please let me know on the comment section below. I am Gaston Mapala right here at Maths with Gaston. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to this channel to help us grow the channel. Right, so f of x is equals to a all over x plus p plus q. We already know the value of p, we already know the value of q, so we're just going to look for a in this case. All right, so okay, let's come here and say a, we're looking for a, x minus 1, there is going to be minus 2. So which value can we substitute here? We can substitute this point here that was given, which is point A, when x is equals to 0, y is equal to 1. So we're gonna substitute that point there. So let's go ahead and do that. 1 is equals to a all over 0 minus 1 minus 2. Right, so now the only thing we need to do now is to solve for y. All right, take 2 to the other side. When you take 2 to the other side, it's going to give us 3. It's equals to a all over minus 1. So if you multiply that, if you cross multiply, a is going to be equals to minus 3. Okay, hope you guys can see. All right, 5.4 for which values of x is f of x greater than 0. Okay, so this one, guys, you really need to look at you must look at the graph, but however we need the x-intercepts here. What do we need? Wait a minute. Yeah, we need this value here, guys, which we don't have, which is our x-intercept. It was not given it to us, but when they ask us for the value of x, for which values of x, we must look for the intercepts. So now what we can do is to calculate for the x of the intercept first, because what are they asking is for which values of x is this graph above the x-axis. So you can see already that starting from this point, remember this simply means above x-axis, right? So now if you look at this one, you can see from this point going that side, going that way, I mean this graph is above the x-axis. So you can't answer this question without knowing this point. So now in order for us to know this point, we must substitute we must look for the x-intercept. So we're going to put the full equation here, minus 3 all over x minus 1 minus 2. So therefore we're looking for the x-intercept. It means y needs to be 0 in this case. So y is 0 minus, I'm moving a little bit fast here, guys. I'm assuming that you guys already know what to do here. Then we take 2 to the other side, is going to be 2, it's equals to negative 3 all over x minus 1. Therefore we cross multiply. In this case, when we cross multiply, this is over 1, you're going to have 2x minus 2 is equals to negative 3. Ultimately you solve for x there. Okay, you solve for x there, then you would realize that x is equals to negative half. Okay, x is equals to negative half. So therefore, to answer this question, you are going to say, therefore, what do we have there? We're going to have x is the element of all real numbers starting from negative half going all the way to 1. But 1 is not included in this case because this graph goes up, but it doesn't go up to infinity. It is restricted by this line of asymptotes here. So you are going to say starting from negative half, which is here, this graph is above up until it gets somewhere here, but it does not touch that. Okay, so if you were to do this in terms of notations, what are you going to say? You are going to say for all the values that are where x is greater than or equal to negative half. Okay, but however for the values that are less than 1. Okay, this is how you would express it if you were to do it in terms of the notation. Right, great stuff. So 5.5, it says here the graph undergoes a transformation to h. The domain and the range of the h are the same as that of f. However, the derivation of h is negative on the, okay, they're talking about the derivative on the domain. Okay, so now here in this case, I hope you guys can still remember the transformation you did in grade 11, how to reflect the graphs. So now What are they saying here? They are saying this graph will remain the same. Okay. The domain, which is there, and the range will remain the same. So basically this means if you were to cut this graph here, okay, so what are they saying? This simply means everything else will remain the same. So I'm thinking this graph would look like this. Okay, I'm thinking it's gonna look like that. Please let me know, guys, if what do you think of this one? What do you think of this one? I think yes, it's going to look like that. So if it looks like that, it means what just happened is that we just took this one. Can you see? We took this graph here, then we reflected it here. We took this graph, took it this side, then we took this one, we took this one that side, or took this one to this side. It will just be the same. Or we took this one to this side and then this one to that side. So this will be our new graph here, guys. So what does this mean? It means what basically just happened, they just reflected all these graphs, this hyperbola, across the lines of asymptotes. So we can just say reflect. This was just reflect on x is equals to 1, and then also reflect on y is equals to -2, because everything else remains the same. So it means that the line of asymptotes will remain the same, everything else remains the same. But however, it means that our a value in this case is negative, and negatives, and is going to become positive. So therefore it means the only thing that they did, they just reflected this they just reflected all this along the lines of asymptotes. All right, and that was question 5, guys. If you really want to see question 6, please stick around on this channel. Go to the playlist go to the playlist and then watch question 6. Let's do question 6 together, and let's make sure that we ace this mathematics right here at Maths with Casting in 2025. Let's work together. Make sure that you subscribe, and then let me know if you don't understand anything. Reach out to me also here by dropping a comment or via WhatsApp. I'm always available. See you in question 6.